Hey guys, welcome to At Home Fitness with Coach A. Today is day number 226 of our At Home Fitness series, and this is the YouTube channel that aims to bring you guys in gym quality coaching and workouts for your at home or garage gym needs. Now, we are on Tuesday of a new week and a new cycle from our testing last week of our mini strength cycle, our mini improvement cycles. So what we're going to be working on for the next couple weeks is going to be what's happening today and then what's happening Thursday of this week. And the first thing that's going to be happening today on our strength work is going to be Bulgarian split squats. We're looking for 3 rounds today, 6 to 8 each leg. I'm gonna go over this as I go through the split squat itself. You're gonna get a little extended version of the introduction today. The rest on this is basically gonna be even, not just on the rounds, but also on the legs moving side to side and back and forth on those sets. All right, so quality is the goal today on these, whether you end up loading them or not. I want you guys working on the balance. There's also going to be a warm-up piece, a standing pass-through. That's probably going to be something we haven't done before, at least most of you, I've not had you do that before. So that's going to be something I go over in the videos as well. All right, now the workout piece for today. We're looking at 4-minute AMRAPs times 3. You guys are going to have 1 minute of rest in between, and we are going to pick up where we left off. So there should be one long score at the end of your 12 minutes, 15 minutes on, or excuse me, 14 minutes on the clock. 10 wall balls, 30 double unders back and forth. All right, so 10 wall balls, 30 dubs. Let's say we finish the first 4-minute AMRAP somewhere in the 3rd round of double unders. You guys are gonna pick up from where you left off when you get to that second AMRAP and continue on from where your score ended, giving us one long score, again, for the 12 minutes of work. Stick around, at least if you guys know what you're doing on this stuff, for the demonstration of the standing pass-through. If you don't know what a Bulgarian split squat is, or you only kind of think you know what a Bulgarian split squat is, stick around for that demonstration as well, and I'll give you guys some points to focus on. All right, guys, so our standing pass-throughs, and the last piece of this warm-up is going to be a balance drill. I have shoes on, mostly because I'm standing in a cold garage and a cold surface, and because I don't feel like taking my shoes off and on, honestly, to get through these videos. So the point of that is, this is probably best done in a bare foot, or at least an unshoed foot, so that you guys are warming up the muscles in the feet, strengthening the stability and balance, and that connection between the feet and the hips, to be able to hold us in a good position. So what we're looking at here is 5 reps. 5 rep or a rep is going to be over and back, right? I'm always gonna start on the inside of the leg that's up. I'm gonna pass to the outside, and I'm gonna pass back to the inside. All this is gonna happen underneath the elevated leg. So foot down, nice and flat, gripping those 3 points. Remember, inside, outside the ball of the foot, and heel. Can I keep all of those down and steady as I'm holding position? I would normally suggest that you guys put a slight bend in the knee so that the hip is able to work a little bit harder there. A lot of times that stiff leg, you're basically just gonna be relying on the muscles in your feet to be able to control that instead of having the hip there as an assist. Also keeping in mind the core probably wants to be braced here, right? Squeezing the glute, bracing the core. Most people, that's gonna be a big help. Every so often find a person that bracing the core makes them less athletic and thus probably disdains their balance a little bit, but that's vast majority of people are not going to be that case. So what we're doing here is we're picking this knee up 90 degrees. I'm going to hand that weight off to the outside, and I'm going to hand it off back to the inside. 1 rep, 2 reps. If you guys are all right, guys, Bulgarian split squat demonstration. I have an actual roller here that's both of these. Most people are not going to have this. A box, a bench will suffice. The roller basically just makes it a little easier to lay the front side of the ankle in place and shift around a little bit and not change the intent of the workout here. So if you guys are going to use a flat surface, whether or not your feet, your back foot, is inverted or the toes are down, is essentially up to the height of that box or that bench, right? The higher it is, the easier it's gonna be to lay those feet down. The lower it is, the harder that's gonna be, because you're gonna basically be standing on the end of your toes. So in that circumstance, you're probably gonna wanna grip at the bottom of the foot, okay? That's not necessarily a right or wrong thing. That is a what is best suited to the position that we're in type thing. Now, when I get set up, I only have so much surface, stand myself in a position where that back leg is going to be in the middle of the roller. Same thing is going to happen on the box there if you guys only have so much width. So the back foot goes on top of the surface. Now, my goal here with that leg is to almost treat it kind of like a soft kickstand, if you will. So I'm trying to get it to relax and stay in place without dictating whether or not I'm moving forward or back or down or up, right? So the more that I can forget that that leg is there and simply holding me in position to balance, the better off I'm gonna be. Now, on the front leg, notice that the knee is over the ankle here, chest and shoulders are probably out over that heel, okay? As I lower down into the squat, this knee is going to travel out over those toes, right? Same rules apply as a normal squat, trying to keep them in line, trying to get the full depth on my hips. Now, this is where a lot of people will tend to mess this up and where proper mechanics and focus come into play. Back leg might be feeling a little bit of a couch stretch, hip flexor stretch in this position, that's fine. Do not let that create an intent to push with that leg and hip. Keep that leg relaxed, focus on isolating here. My intent is to push down through my foot, to extend my knee and squeeze my butt, but I'm not trying to get my hips to extension over that foot. All right, it is simply, if you ever see like lazy people squat, essentially, as they're going through a workout, and they're just kind of extending their knees, but they're never bringing their hips through, that is a little bit more of what this Bulgarian split squat is going to work like. You guys are going to take yourself down, push into the ground, extend that knee, squeeze the glute, even though the hips aren't actually coming through that much, and work on control and balance. So very similar to that standing pass-through, the balance is going to be the hardest part here. Being able to hold and control that position is what we want to focus on today. You guys can weight this. It can be weighted like this. So let's say that leg's back. It can be weighted like this. It can be weighted like this. I can have a barbell on the back. In the front rack, I can have an odd object that I'm holding. I could even put that barbell in a Zercher position. All kinds of different options here. But the first week, especially if you guys haven't done these before, my main focus is, can I control this? All right, can I control my stability? Can I get used to the balance point? Can I get used to keeping that foot flat and isolating this front leg, this leg that's actually doing the squat, as opposed to trying to compensate with everything else across the hip complex here. So take your time, 6 to 8 reps each side. Don't care if you guys have any weight on there. Even if you can add weight in the future, that's fine. Let's work on doing them well. Let's work on getting accustomed to the movement so that we can improve going forward. All right, guys, so to review the WOD today, we're looking at 3 rounds of a 4-minute AMRAP. We're going to continue through scoring on this, so picking up where we left off after the 1-minute rest. We're going to start here with 10 wall balls. Now, I'm in the garage. We have a little bit of construction going on outside, so I'm just kind of stuck going to the beam here, but you guys get the idea. So it's going to be 10 wall balls, goal of going unbroken here, and then I'm going to drop down and pick that jump rope up and go into the 30 double unders. So obviously double unders are a different variable here. We're not just looking at choosing necessarily, aka kicking the rope there, whether or not we're going to go unbroken, but I want you guys to push through this as if though that is the goal. Wall balls, absolutely. It's only 10. You guys can handle that every time you pick it up. Keep working through it. If you need to have a couple seconds coming off the wall balls or before you go to the wall balls, that's fine. Take a few breaths. But the goal is unbroken on everything all the way through, accumulating as many reps as we can. Stay tuned for movement modifications. Let's talk modifications for today's stuff. On the Bulgarian split squats, no modifications. If you can't hold your balance in that position, all I want you to do, or at least going through that position, all I want you to do is put that back leg up Give me a quarter squat, give me a half squat, whatever it is, and shorten the range of motion to something you can control and start working yourself a little bit lower. Treat this almost like we're learning how to get stronger at doing full push-ups. So I'm gonna stack those ab mats or something underneath my abdomen. I'm gonna lower down to what I can do, and I'm gonna press back up. And then over time, I get a little lower, I get a little lower, I get more of a full range of motion, okay? We still get that isolated single leg work in. We're still isolating that hip, making it control, working on the muscles in the feet, making them stabilize, and pushing the energy into the floor, all right? Everything's the same, except the range of motion gets shortened to something you have a shot at. Now, on the workout, wall balls are always going to be one of the easiest things to modify because it is super simple. It's a squat and it's a press overhead, specifically a push press using the hips. So whether or not we have 2 dumbbells, 2 kettlebells, we have one in front of us that's gonna function just like that wall ball. We have a barbell that is very, very light, at least empty, if not maybe even a lighter barbell if you guys have that. Whatever it is, full front squat, push press going overhead. All right, if we have a shoulder issue that we're trying to avoid, goblet squat, med ball squat, something along those lines. You can even do a med ball clean. If you guys are gonna do something like that because of the time frame that the med ball clean takes versus the wall ball, then I'd rather see you drop the reps down to something more maybe the 5 to 6 range in terms of per round going into those double unders, okay? Now, double unders, again, super simple. We have single unders. Because of the speed today, I don't want you to just double rate the 60 for the single unders. That's gonna cut back on the amount of rounds you guys are gonna be able to get done in the 4 minutes. I'd rather see you go 1.5 to like a 45, or honestly, if you have a hard time with single unders, just stay with 30 and do 30 if that's gonna be what keeps you moving back and forth. What if we wanna modify to something else? I know a lot of people love to do toe taps, those lateral hops side to side. For today's stuff, I would rather see you guys do jumping jacks, especially if we're gonna be modifying the wall ball as well. You don't have something to throw the ball to, all right? I'd really like to see that upper body range of motion opening up and you breathing a little bit harder than the hops or the taps probably make you will, okay? In which case, 30 is probably fine here. If you find that jumping jacks smoke you compared to using the rope, then I want you to bring the number down to probably 20 or something in that realm. Otherwise, we're good with 30 and we're good with, let's say, doing 10 on a goblet squat or a front squat or something like that, as long as it's very light.